episode is brought to you by Disney's Young Woman and the Sea, now streaming on Disney+.
I've decided to swim the English Channel.
A woman? I believe she'll die in that water.
From producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Joachim Roning comes the must-see true story, Daisy Ridley.
I go to England or die trying.
Trudy, you don't have to do this.
Don't let anyone take me out of the water, no matter what.
Disney's Young Woman and the Sea, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Now streaming on Disney+.
Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
It's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings.
John, my favorite cretin.
Glad to be back.
We need to do some more traveling together.
Yeah, we do.
I recall very fondly our trip to Australia for
that was a good one.
For the conference there.
Yeah.
We sat on the plane together. Mm-hmm. We suffered in the LA airport together.
Indeed. Yeah. Singapore was awesome, too.
Singapore as well. I really enjoyed Singapore. I'm so glad you could go and do that with us.
Me too. That was a good time.
That was another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was so hot. If they could just move it like up to the Arctic Circle, I think it'd be nicer. But
speaking of the Arctic Circle, I'm planning Sweden again in March.
Oh, you are?
I love it there, and I love the people are wonderful. I think they could be nicer than the people from New Zealand, which is saying a lot for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think people in Sweden are nicer than anybody anywhere.
Well, it's because they're brewing people.
That's right. Well, and that's the thing. Their brewing scene is exploding, and the quality is climbing like a rocket. And I think a good part of it is this conference I do in Malmö, Sweden, in March every year.
Oh, yeah?
And this will be the third time I've done it. Now, I don't go anywhere 3 times. I am.
Yeah, usually you don't get invited back.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. But for some reason, they've invited me back a third time. I think you should go to that one, John. I mean, really,
I'd like to, yeah.
It is fantastic, and it is such a well-run conference. I mean, these guys, they got it dialed in. The quality of the information, the presenters, and, just the whole focus. In a day, you gain more in a day there than I think you gain in most conferences in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an amazing beer festival after, and it's just fantastic. So, a Malmö craft beer conference, I think, if you Googled that in English or in Swedish, you'd probably get it. And the whole thing's done in English. So you have to worry that it's all in Swedish. If you're in the UK, why are you not getting your ass up to Malmö? You fly into Copenhagen. It's like a $10 flight, and then it's like a $30 train ride, and you're right there. A $30 15-minute train ride and a $10 flight. That's Europe in a nutshell. Anyways, yeah, I would love for us to travel some more.
Yeah, it would be fun. I'll put it on my calendar and see what I can do.
All right. I'll tell you who else I like traveling with. Our good friend John Blickman.
Indeed, yeah. Always fun traveling with him.
He's a good guy. And we were talking about Tahoe in the last show, and our good friend John Blickman, he went out and traveled with us, and that was a blast. He's quite the interesting person to sit and have a beer with and talk about whatever it might be. Yeah. And he has a mind that is very problem solving. Yeah, always suggesting possibilities and problem solving. Yeah. You know, so you could talk about whatever, you know, you could talk about, you know, the NFL, and he would just like, oh, okay, he'd have some innovations for them too. Yeah. But I'm
going to be doing a brewing class with him in Indianapolis in November.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we're going to do one of the BYO boot camps out there.
Oh,
he and I are doing an all-day session on, all grain brewing techniques.
Nice.
We'll be demonstrating the whole all grain process, and it'll be fun.
It sounds like a blast. Well, I'll tell you, if you would like to chat up Mr. Blickman and tell him what you do or don't like about his products, what you do or don't like about the show, email him at feedback@blickmanengineering.com. I suggest just telling him you appreciate that he pays for the show. He doesn't really control the content or the fact that we're a pair of idiots here, but you know, he's putting out some cash to make sure you get the show for free. So if you enjoy it, spend some time on their site, blickmanengineering.com, and tell John how much you enjoy the show at feedback@blickmanengineering.com. All right. We have with us today a guest in studio, my friend Luis Castro from he's opening his brewery here in Martinez, the former location of the Hop Grenade, or the Brewing Network. Yeah, it was in like just spitting distance from where the Hop Grenade, or I keep saying Hop Grenade, where the Brewing Network was, the studios were. Mm-hmm. It was like an archery place. I looked at that place to move Heretic to, and now you've grabbed the reins by the horn and tell us about your brewery.
Yeah, so we are located in Martinez. We under construction right now. There's a lot of stuff that needed to be done at the building before it was available for leasing. So we were able to get this building at the beginning of the year, like around March. So we are in the whole construction right now. We pour in new concrete. We're doing a lot of cool stuff for customers to be happy, having a couple of beers. Our equipment is arriving in a couple of weeks, so we're going to start installation, and we're trying to open end of the year, probably early next year. Mm-hmm. We'll see how everything goes. Yeah. I'll be contacting Jamil anyway.
It's tough opening a brewery. There's a lot to it. You know, people think, I'll just rent a building and I'll just drop my brew plant and start brewing. It's like, no. You don't do anything with a building without, permits and plans and lots of money. And, it takes something.
Yeah, it normally takes more money than what you budget and more time than what you project. So
double or triple everything. Figure out the worst case scenario and then double or triple it.
Yep.
And then you'll be happy at the end. You'll be like, it's like me with my freaking kitchen. It's like, took forever. Luckily, I had already worst case scenarioed it, and I was like, okay, well, so we hit our worst case scenario. So I guess I'm happy. Yeah. So what kind of beers do you plan on brewing?
So I'm being into IPAs, as most of everybody, I guess, around. Now I'm happy to be here because we're going to be talking about those IPAs and the juicy, hazy IPAs that we love too. But I like to play with different ingredients too, especially if we can mix some of the food ingredients into the beer. Like we've been working with a couple of restaurants doing mole oatmeal stout. So we got that one. We have like a ginger pale ale. We have a local roaster in Martinez that we've been doing a couple of beers with them. A coffee infused beer, even a blonde, kind of a blonde stout, like a blonde ale, or a straight porter with a nice coffee aroma and flavor. Yep.
We just did a beer with a brewery from Mexico, La Chingoneria.
Jesus.
What? Hey.
La Chingoneria?
Yeah. See? My Spanish is horrible, but from my English, you would expect my Spanish to be horrible. All right. I can barely speak English. Give me a break. No, great guys. And we did a collaboration using piloncillo and mango from Mexico. And we did about a 9% beer.
Nice.
And we're going to be packaging it up here next week and sending like a pallet of cans down to Mexico. The USDA set the whole thing up. So
really?
Had a great old time doing it. It was a blast. The guys came up from Mexico, Isaac, and I want to say Ernesto. I could be wrong. Start with an E. I don't know. I can't pronounce my own name right. What do you think I'm going to, how I'm going to... Yeah. Ingredients in beers, food ingredients in beers is becoming really, that's where a lot of the innovation is coming from now, I think. And people really appreciate it.
What was mangoes like? They're hard to peel, hard to eat. I mean, it must have been tough to brew with.
Oh, John. As Luis mentioned, we're going to be talking about
okay. All right. Well.
the Hazy IPA thing, the New England style or Northeast style hoppy beer.
Why did you put mangoes in that? I mean, it sounds great, but mangoes.
Well, do we have one with mangoes here?
We do, I think.
Which one? Is that the mango one? This is the blood orange one.
No, this is the peach, apricot, and guava.
Guava.
Yeah. And that's the blood orange one.
So our good friend of the show, Jeff Roach, out in New England, very lucky to personally spend some time in Boston and surrounding vicinity. Our beer's out there, and so I go out there every once in a while. And what I've had a chance to do is taste a lot of beers in the area and meet a lot of brewers, and Jeff's one of them, and really understand the beer scene out there a lot more. I think when New England IPAs first started out being a thing, there were some really bad ones. There were some really good ones, but we weren't getting them out here. And we would get the really bad ones out here. And I think that put us all off on the possibilities of the style. But having spent more time out there, I've consumed a lot more of these. Now, don't get me wrong, there's so many bad ones, but there are so many great ones as well. So there are some that are just outstanding beers that you would love this beer no matter what. Close your eyes, don't close your eyes, whatever. Great beer to drink. Now, what we're going to try and do with this show is Jeff sent us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16-ounce cans. We're going to try and drink them all. It's 7 different beers, and we're going to try and drink and talk about the New England IPA style and how you would craft one yourself, what makes a great example of the style, what's a bad example of style, all that stuff. Yeah? All right, let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we will be sampling, I think, Congress Street India Pale Ale from Trillium. Again, captured fresh and sent to us, packed very securely. And then we've also got the Heretic Make America Juicy Again, which I was actually canning this morning, and so I just grabbed one off the line. So there you go. We'll be back right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter pressure lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hey guys, what'll it be?
I'm not sure. What do you recommend?
A lot of people seem to like the Hefeweizen.
Is that a German Hefeweizen or more of an American-style wheat beer?
I'm not sure, but I can give you a taste.
Okay, great.
The Cicerone Certification Program certifies and educates beer professionals in order to elevate the beer experience for consumers. Unfortunately, not every bar is staffed with certified beer servers who can guide their customers through a beer list.
Here you go, guys. Let me know what you think of the Hefeweizen.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely more of an American meat. But I can hardly tell because this beer just smells like sour butter. I wonder how long it's been since they cleaned the draft line.
Yeah, and look at the bubbles on the side of the glass. It's filthy.
Somebody should tell these guys about the Cicerone program.
For sure. How about we head somewhere else for another beer?
Your server should give beer the same respect you do. Request quality. The Cicerone Certification Program offers 4 levels of beer certification, in-person classes, and course books for beer professionals. Check them out at cicerone.org. The Cicerone Certification Program. We know beer.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending Mash and Boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew strong.
All right, we're back. We're drinking a Congress Street IPA from Trillium Brewing, sent to us by our friend Jeff Roach. The description online, which Jeff kindly provided those links as well. Our flagship American IPA highlights the distinctive aroma of Australian Galaxy hop. The nose bursts with pine, citrus, rind, melon, and pineapple. Pronounced flavors of peach, clementine, and tropical fruits are accentuated with moderate bitterness, balanced by a tight, biscuity malt character. The word biscuity, which I love. American two-row, white wheat, C15, dextrin, dextrose. The hops are Galaxy and Columbus. We had this side by side with the Heretic Make America Juicy just because that's kind of like the only category that didn't know we'd have this many. The Heretic is so the Congress Street is 7%, I think. 7.2. 7.
7.2, yeah.
7.2, and the Heretic is 6.5. The Heretic we used Citra, Mosaic, and I want to say in this batch Azaka. Real
that's a popular hop for that.
Real tropical fruity.
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to look up my definition of New England IPA, which I wrote for somebody was asking me. I wrote him an email. It was very disjointed, and apparently I was drinking heavy. Let's see. And so it needs to be rewritten. What I wrote was, he asked me, what is New England IPA? And I said, a great New England IPA has haze mainly from the use of high protein and high glucon grains such as oats. During the brew process, the mash, the lauter, and the boil, the brewer does not do the things normally done to reduce excess proteins in the beer, such as adding kettle findings or performing a Vorlauf step. This allows a lot of excess protein to be carried over to the fermenter. When the beer is dry hop, the tannins from the hops combine with the protein in the beer to form a haze that can be difficult to clear. In addition, due to not using findings or filtering, there is usually some yeast in suspension as well. To make a great version, it's important not to have too much yeast left over. I've seen some beers end up with really chunky, with huge amounts of flocculated yeast. The ideal profile of a New England IPA is soft, fruity, with just enough balancing bitterness to call it an IPA. If the beer is too bitter, then it isn't right. It shouldn't be bitter like a traditional West Coast IPA, like a traditional or West Coast IPA. Soft, luscious, lots of tropical and citrus fruit character. I think the discussions about if it is the question was, is New England IPA just bad brewing or is it actually a style? And I said I think the discussions about it, if it's just bad brewing or not, has to do with the wide range of quality in the products out there. While there are many fantastic examples of the styles these days, there seem to be as many or more really bad examples. Just because a brewery makes a beer that is cloudy does not mean it is a good New England IPA. There is so much more to New England IPA flavor and mouthfeel-wise. It takes skill to make a great example. A brewery releasing a half-fermented beer and calling it New England IPA is what has hurt the style and promoted the idea that it is just bad brewing. So that's kind of my take on it. I think
it's pretty fair.
Yeah, and initially, we were getting those examples. We're just like, oh my god, this isn't fermented all the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now I think there's a lot of great ones out there. And like I said, I spent several weeks on the in Boston and going around and tasting the things I could taste. And I'm telling you, there's great examples. And I think it is something. I think it is kind of like the wit beer of IPAs. So wit beer, it has that, that cloudiness to it, that haze to it. It's got a kind of almost a pillowy softness, I like to say. It's got, kind of a background sweetness, but, it's also kind of balanced out. It's got, it's got those fruity characters to it.
Here's one question I've had, Jamil. Uh-huh. How does this New England IPA compare to the white IPA style of a year or so ago? Are they the same or are they subtly different?
I think it's related. Now, a lot of the folks who are doing New England IPA now, they say you have to use an English ale yeast. You have to use like a London ale yeast. And that's the only thing. The problem with doing that is I don't think it really produces that much fruitiness. I mean, if you choose the right yeast, it will produce a British character. The ones that produce more character, I don't know that is really complementary to the style of the beer. Mm-hmm. If you choose the ones that are more complementary to the style of beer, that are cleaner, I think they flocculate so well and produce so little additional flavor. So what we're using right now is Cal Ale yeast, and we're getting tremendous fruitiness. All right, so let's talk about the beers. What do you guys think? Let's start with pornographic dildo, Stephen.
My expert opinion. First off, the aroma between the two, I got instantly a lot more fruitiness off of the Congress Street. And yours, Make America Juicy Again, I got a lot more herbal, flowery hop character instead.
Okay.
Off the nose. In mouthfeel, I feel like yours is a little bit lighter, thinner body, maybe.
Yeah, and I get some citrusy on Jamil's beer too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like orange. Yeah, citrus. I get more tropical. Actually, way more tropical in the Congress Street.
And the other bit different is the one is 7.2 and the other is 5.66. So
6.5.
You definitely can
tell the bitterness. Yeah, the Congress Street is definitely more bitter. As far as mouthfeel, not that far off. But I think the Congress Street definitely has a little bit more of a body.
You see, I get a lot more passion fruit and tropical out of the
color's almost
out of the hair.
Almost exactly the same.
No.
One's
quite a bit darker.
Yeah.
I think the
Congress is a little bit darker. Yeah.
I think my eyes are fucked up.
You take enough loads to the face.
You're right.
Messes with your eyes.
Yeah. Gotta wear some goggles.
I get a lot more tropical out of the Heretic. I get a lot more herbal out of the.
So it's the other way for you.
Yeah.
Well, in taste or aroma? Because on yours, I get a strong, like fresh hop herbal. Feel for me.
Well, yeah, it was packaged
which might
today,
be because it was today. Maybe I was mistaking that. Yeah, it smells like fresh cut flowers. Yours does.
Yeah, I get a lot more tropical. But I would say I like them both.
Yeah.
Now, is there some reason to hate these beers because they're cloudy, or because they're not bitter and dry? So the West, one of the things on the West Coast we've come to appreciate, an exceedingly dry, crisp, bitter IPA, and I think that this is almost the exact opposite. It's not as crisp, it's not as dry, it's not as bitter. And I think that's one of the reasons that people had poo-pooed it, initially. But I think there's something there.
I think it's a really good beer to have. I don't think that I will have like 2 or 3 beers of the same one. I probably definitely want to switch from a hazy IPA to a different type of beer, especially after the second one.
I think there's something to be said about that too. Totally, you're saying that it's not dry.
And there's a lot of
the thing with these is
the biscuity, almost coffee-like in a way in the Congress Street. You get almost like
coffee
a slight coffee hint. You get the biscuity malt, and you get almost there's almost a kind of a coffee
like
aroma.
That drying bite.
Yeah, almost like a coffee aroma as well.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, very interesting.
With the black coffee bitterness,
it's more bitter than some of the examples I've had in Boston of this beer. So this one seems a little bit more bitter. So I'm not sure, but I think this is what I had. Maybe I had Melcher Street. That's the next one that we will go with. I think we should Melcher Street this. I'll tell you this. If you were in anywhere around Indiana or anywhere around the interwebs, if you have a computer, you can... Taylor, Jesus.
I'm sorry. I can't hold myself.
You could go to greatfermentations.com, and I bet you they could hook you up with all you needed to make a great New England IPA. All right. So this one is Melcher Street, which is a Galaxy double dry hopped IPA.
That's good.
Definitely Galaxy double dry hopped.
So how would you characterize the flavors here? I mean, are we talking, no malt, all flavorful hop?
No.
Flavors?
Like I'm saying, in the Congress Street, there was a biscuity character to it, and
so the flavor balance is not West Coast, where it's all hop, no malt.
Right.
It's more balanced.
You get a you get grain character in the beers out in the West Coast as well, but it tends to be, a base malt, light, grainy, slightly biscuity type of thing. Versus this is it's got some color to it. This is probably 6 SRM.
Okay.
Which the double dry hop Melcher Street comes up as double dry hop version of Melcher Street. This is amped up American IPA, heavy dose mosaic hop, spicy resinous, herbal, burst, tart citrus, tangerine, clementine. Both flavors under ripe melon, cantaloupe, rind, and pineapple. Gentle bitterness, biscuity malt character. Two-row, white wheat, C15, dextrin, dextrose, mosaic, and Columbus. So I do not want to suppose for the brewer or say anything that is totally incorrect, but I'm guessing that the Congress Street, they take a portion, they dry hop it with the Galaxy, and they call that Melcher. It seems like exactly the same recipe with just dry hopping it. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's just one of the things you could do, Luis, when you get started is you brew a 30-barrel batch of something, split it into 2 15s, and one of them you extra dry hop, and one of them you leave.
Call a different name, target 2 different customers.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you tell them what the difference is. It's not like you're hiding anything. It's like, well, no, in this beer we've done this. Taste the difference. Try both of them. See which one you prefer. And some people will love one, some people will love the other. For me, I don't know. Let's take a vote here. Taylor?
On the Melcher?
Yeah. Would you prefer the Melcher or the Congress?
I'll go with the Melcher.
I was waiting for him to dig himself a grave before you spoke up.
Sorry.
So you'd be like,
okay.
I'll go with the
he does this.
Budweiser.
It's normal. I'll do the Budvar. See, it's more complicated than that. Like, if there's one I had to drink.
Which of the two do you prefer? That's the only question.
I like the Melcher. Yeah.
Luis, you like the Melcher? I like the Melcher as well.
Yeah. I think it has a
complexity in it.
Yeah. You get like different layers in the beer.
I get grass. I get like earthy tones, but I also get a lot of herbal.
This is real herbal.
Particular. I can't put my finger on it. It's really annoying. There's this
It tries to escape your finger.
It's trying to leave my finger. I can't get it. I don't know. I won't be able to think of it.
God damn, Taylor.
I know. I need to expand my vocabulary.
All right.
I just know words like yes and no.
Well, you know who knows the word yes and no?
Who's that?
Well, what again? John Blickman or Great Fermentations, but I've already used them. Have I used Great Fermentations? I talked about Great Fermentations, didn't I?
Not this.
I did.
Okay, he knows.
John's probably the most sober of all of us, yeah.
Unfortunately.
The AHA, yes, they have a great application for your phone, the Brew Guru app, which you can get from the Google Play Store, from the iPhone App Store, all that stuff. And what it does is show you where you can get the AHA discount. Homebrew shops, pubs, there's discounts on food, discounts on beer, discounts on equipment. Absolutely got to check it out. And no, it doesn't cost you anything. It is for free.
Yes, so it's your window to the AHA.
Yes. And it's got articles that you can read. It's got all sorts of great stuff in it. Well worth your time to download the Brew Guru app. John and I both used it when we were in Minnesota.
Yeah.
At the conference for finding great local places and getting that AHA discount. John and I we're cheap sons of bitches. We want our discount.
We're frugal. We're well informed. That's it. We're well informed.
All right, we're frugal and well informed. That sounds.
That's a better.
All right.
Good spin on it.
There you go. All right. So check them out, and you can get it. Like I said, at the Google Play Store. You can get it the Apple App Store. It's all from the AHA, the Brew Guru app. All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we will be hammering through Headroom, Vicinity, Adult Human, and 200,000 right after this.
If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association at craftbeer.com. Also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer. BN Army, have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grainfathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamil Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe and until we're able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're having a good old time, and now we're drinking some Headroom. Double IPA.
8%.
You saying that's a double IPA and not a New England IPA, or just a
double New England IPA? All these are exceedingly hazy.
Okay.
I mean, they pour like a glass of orange juice, which is perfect for the style.
Mm-hmm. And in your opinion, is that haze coming from yeast or coming from the oats or wheat used in the recipe?
Well, as the foremost expert on this stuff, I'm gonna pour myself some Vicinity Double IPA. So here's what I hated about some of the earlier ones, and you know, a very I guess infamous Twitter rant, that nobody will let me forget was somebody poured me for $10 for a 9-ounce pour a glass of yeast sludge.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, all right, so like 20% of this glass is yeast sludge that I can't drink at $10. Now, hey, I may be rich and famous, but I'm also a cheap bastard, and I feel like I got ripped off. And so it really just kind of irked me that somebody's pouring me this really half-fermented beer with a ton of yeast in it. I just thought it was wrong, you know? Mm-hmm. But I do believe that some yeast in the style is good. Now, there are some early pioneers of the style that when you get their beer, if it's sat for a week, you will find giant chunks of yeast like tofu in the beers.
Okay.
I think that's wrong. I think if you get this giant yeast, meaty, bitter bite from the yeast, I think that's wrong. I think the majority of the haze has to come from the the protein tannin complex.
Yeah.
I think that some comes from the yeast because you're not filtering, you're not fining, you're not doing anything other than waiting for it to finish fermenting. And then now you'll always get some petite mutants, some stragglers, and that's fine. I think it adds to body, believe it or not. I think it adds to a bit of bittering.
So we're talking about low flocculating yeasts.
But see, the weird thing is, all these people, going off on, you got to use the right yeast, you got to use, the English ale yeast. English ale yeast flocculates like you wouldn't frickin' believe. That's why it turns to like, chunks of tofu in the bottom.
Right. Well, some of them do, and then you have. Those are the low attenuating English ale yeast. Then you have your high attenuating English ale yeast that tend to be less flocculent.
No. They are all flocculent. Compare them to some Hefe yeast and lager yeast. Lager yeasts tend to be not very flocculent at all. So flocculation being, the agglomeration of yeast cells together into a mass, right? Yeah. Where the density increases and it settles out faster, right?
Right.
So lager yeasts don't do that at all. So they're considered bottom, fermenting yeast because they're just dusty all the way down to the bottom. All the ale yeast, and especially the British ale yeast, they flocculate so well that they pop to the top because the CO2 just lifts them up as a the CO2 acts on this giant blanket of these things. But I'll tell you, there is not a British ale yeast of any kind that is this non-flocculent. It tends to clump together and fall. If I wanted to make a beer hazy because of yeast, I would do as the Hefeweizen brewers do, and I would dose it with lager yeast at packaging because it's so dusty.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah?
All right. All right. Well, the reason I ask is when I formulated my recipe for how to brew, I used both oats and wheat, to vary the grain bill a bit and get some more starch in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I used. I use raw? I used flaked wheat in the one.
Yeah, I'd go with if you're using a wheat, I would go with a raw wheat.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go with a malted wheat.
Okay, yeah. Looks like due to availability, I went with the malted wheat on this recipe.
Because malted wheat will end up in the starches and all that.
Converting and
right. You'll end up with a fairly clear beer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the goal is to get more proteins into solution to combine with the tannins from the hops and get a real nice haze.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, all these Trillium beers. We're doing Adult Human, which is a double India Pale Ale with blood oranges. I mean, just the the appearance is just beautiful. It's exactly what it should be. It looks like a glass of orange juice.
Mm-hmm. Do they happen to quote what IBU level they're targeting?
No. So one of the things we found at Heretic when we're making our Make America Juicy is no bittering hops.
Okay, yeah, that's how I did mine. Yeah.
Whirlpool and dry hop.
Yeah.
And not a lot of Whirlpool, and mainly all dry hop, and 66 IBUs is what it measured out in the lab.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mine was less bitter. I was targeting 40. And
no, you should definitely target less. Just the Whirlpool, if you leave your hops hot, you'll get a lot of bittering.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wheat, oats, some base malt, and then 0 bittering hops. Not a ton of water adjustment towards the bitter or the sharp bittering. You want a mellow bittering, as mellow as possible. And so a little bit of whirlpool hops, and then a ton of dry hops, and that's it.
Yeah, I can read you my recipe if you're interested, for anybody out there. This was for a 6 gallons of wort into the fermenter. The recipe consisted of 8 pounds of pale ale malt, not Pilsner malt, but pale ale malt, 2 pounds of wheat malt, 1 pound of Munich malt, the 10 Lovibond, and 1 pound of Simpson's Golden Naked Oats, which is a 10 Lovibond crystal type oat. Mm-hmm. And so the idea there behind that malt bill is to get a little bit of residual sweetness into the beer, a little bit of maltiness character from the Munich, a little drier malt character from the wheat malt, as well as the paler color. And then for the hopping, I did 4 ounces in the whirlpool, hop steeping after the boil, 30 minutes. It consisted of 1 ounce of Amarillo, 1 ounce of Belma, 1 ounce of Riwaka from New Zealand, and 1 ounce of Galaxy. And then dry hopped after attenuation. People have talked about adding the dry hops during primary fermentation for these styles. Mm-hmm. I was traveling, so when I got back, it already finished fermentation before I dry hopped it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I did about 3 days of dry hopping with 1 ounce of Amarillo, 1 ounce of Belma, 1 ounce of Riwaka, and 1 ounce of the Galaxy again. So coming out around 38, 40 IBUs.
So a couple of interesting things. We did some side-by-sides with same wort, same beer, same yeast, same pitching rate, everything else, same fermenter. And we did pitching, dry hopping while fermentation was at certain points, and we did dry hopping like we normally do after fermentation is done. And when you added the dry hops earlier in fermentation, towards the end of fermentation, before fermentation was done, you've got kind of a biting bitterness, and it was unpleasant.
Ah, interesting.
I don't believe that that's the way to go at all. I think that people are imagining, there's some transformation of, the hop oils and right. I think that's a load of crap. Somebody else who's done it side by side, blind taste testing, tell me that they got different results, but that's the results that we got. So I'd like to see people try that. Hey, maybe the, I don't know, who are the guys that do all the testing?
Oh, Brewlosophy.
Brewlosophy. Have them test it. Try that side by side. I'm telling you, what we got we didn't like.
Interesting. Now, you use Cal Ale yeast, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That apparently the whole issue of hop glycosides is very strain dependent. So.
Oh, yeah. People will make up excuses for all sorts of things. Sure. Uh-huh.
Right. So, just...
You have to use a specific strain of yeast or any British strain of yeast.
Well, you have to use one where they claim that the yeast has the hop glycoside reducing ability. Cal Ale apparently isn't one of them.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe that's the case, and then I'm wrong.
Yeah. I think I think your data is certainly valid and probably incorrect. I'm just pointing out there may be situations and circumstances.
Absolutely. Just like when we're talking about sulfur, different strains of yeast handle that differently.
That's very true.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think your recipe sounds great. I think it's too low on the dry hopping. We probably use 10 times as much in dry hopping than we do in the whirlpool.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I should try and pull that up. If the rest of you could talk for a while, instead of just sitting there and being quiet, I could possibly pull this up. Taylor?
Yeah, I'd like to hear what Porno Steve Taylor has to say.
Okay.
What are we drinking now?
I just had the Adult Human and Vicinity, both double IPAs.
But did you drink any beer?
Oh, ha. Well played. Well played. Yeah. Adult Human.
It's all right.
Yeah. I think it might have something to do with the blood oranges it's brewed with. Because I think Vicinity is just a straight double IPA, no fruit added. Adult Human is a double IPA brewed with blood oranges. I think it just lends to a...
Does it have a bitter, pithy kind of bitterness?
Yeah, it's just too... It's almost a thinner body, too. Like, it's too much like juice.
Okay.
It's too much like juice. It's so thin. Yeah, it's... Nah. I like my beer more beer than...
Juice.
Yeah, and this is actually very, very juicy. Almost too much.
Well, if they use a significant proportion of orange juice in the recipe, that may have lowered increased the attenuation and lowered the body.
Mm-hmm.
That could be that reason.
Yeah, you can kind of tell by the even by the color too.
Ah, okay.
And when you let it settle a bit, a couple things separate out a bit.
So, this is an older recipe. I mean, we change it every batch at this point. We're talking about maybe 10 to 15 kilos in the whirlpool of various hops, and then we're talking probably double or 3 times that in the first dry hop, and then again in the second dry hop.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a shit ton of hops. That would be for a 30-barrel batch. Well, and all right, so I think one of the things to do is really to focus on the citrusy tropical hops. I wouldn't use anything that did not lend itself to that. I think anything that is herbal, I would avoid. I think anything that is floral, I'd avoid. Anything that's spicy, I'd avoid. I'd go just for the fruitiest hops possible. And I would go with a high mash temperature, right? You want a lot of residual body forming and, with thicker kind of mouthfeel. For us, we use at least 20% oats.
Okay.
I would not be adverse to somebody using up to 50% wheat and oats. Go crazy. Make it all wheat and oats. Do you think I'm nuts, John?
Yeah, I don't like that much oats in the beer.
Well, you don't, but I'm telling you, to achieve the results you want to achieve.
Yeah, the very
John,
clean mouthfeel.
We already determined you're a curmudgeon.
Yes, that's true. I am old curmudgeon. but I've done some wheat beers with a lot of oats, a lot of flaked oats. And a dark mild recipe, et cetera, et cetera. If you get too much oats, it gets this strange sweet flavor that I was making a mild, granted, with not a whole lot of hopping, 30 IBUs, but there's definitely something strange about 20% or 25% oats in that batch. I prefer it less, 10, 15 maybe max.
Yeah, I've never really gotten that. At most, I get kind of a nutty character from oats. But oats have a really lean mouthfeel, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And haze-forming starches. I don't think they add a whole lot of flavor. A whole lot of sweetness.
This one definitely had it. A couple batches I tried. So I backed off on them a lot. But, it could just be my taste,
I think oats, wheat, base malt, fruity hops, and I think one of the most important things is that you get this darn thing to attenuate fully, right?
Right. Yep.
What's your mash
temperature? Now we haven't mentioned water.
Your mash temperature is?
I would go high. I'd go like 158.
Okay.
I think you can go less. The important thing is that you pitch enough yeast so it'll dry out and not leave behind like half fermented beer. That I think is wrong.
Yeah, it shouldn't be sweet. It can have some residual sweetness, but not under attenuated. There is a difference in flavor.
All right. I think it really is an intriguing style, and I think it is a style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Let me tell you about my good friends at AdamandEve.com. If you like style, they got style. They got all sorts of style. And if you use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, at AdamandEve.com right now, you're going to get 50% off just about any one item in the store. They've got good pricing already. All you're going to pay is the 50% off of that one item. And then what they're going to give you is 3 free adult DVDs, an extra special gift so sensual I can't mention what it is on the air, and free shipping. Free shipping. That's usually where they get you. Am I right, Porno Steve?
Yes. They always
they bone you on the
they bone you in that way, man. And not in the good way.
Shipping.
It's not a good boning.
It's a very painful boning.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Adam and Eve won't do that to you. They're going to give you free shipping. It's like very pleasurable boning. I'm just saying.
Sensual boning.
Sensual boning. And so you spend 50% of one item of your choosing. You're going to get the 3 DVDs, you can get the free extra gift, and free shipping. Check it out, AdamandEve.com. It's a great deal. If you haven't shopped there before, absolutely worth checking it out. Jamil, Jamil, at AdamandEve.com. Everybody gets sensual every once in a while, and I think
it's going to happen. You should just take advantage of the deal.
There is
take advantage of the deal.
If you don't think you could use something there, then you are just denying your humanness.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed. All right.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up with New England IPA right after this.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, The Practical Guide to Aroma, Bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing. Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and a homebrewer's answer book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from the BrewingNetwork.com.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. Having a great time. Thanks to Jeff Roach sending us some great beers from Trillium, and we're having a lot of fun with checking out, extremely hazy New England style IPA, and giving our 2 bits on it, and what we think. What about you, Luis? Have you brewed much New England style IPA?
I have, yeah. I have done probably a handful of those. Actually, I have one hazy pale ale fermenter right now. Yeah, like 5% pale ale, low bitterness, a lot of dry hopping. Yeah.
Right. Well, what do you think? What do you feel makes the best New England IPA? Give us your take on recipe.
I think what we normally do is we use a decent amount of wheat and a decent amount of oats, but then
you say decent amount. What kind of percentage? 10, 20?
Yeah, kind of like 18%, 22% of the total.
Of the grist?
Yeah. That's what we use. And then, like you were talking about, focusing on hops that provide the citrusy, fruity, and we normally use like Citra, Mosaic, kind of those hops that provide the nice fruity.
Real tropical, citrusy, yeah.
Because you definitely don't want to get that kind of weird taste. I think there's too many things trying to fight on this type of beer, and you don't want your hops to be fighting with the hazy and the juicy of the beer. Yeah,
sure.
And we were just talking about talking about the carbonation, and I think that's one of the things that some breweries are missing is having a nice carbonation of the beer, and just trying to keep that head on the beer even after 5 minutes that you've been drinking the beer.
Well, and I think one of the things is carbonated up. If you don't have body, you can't carry the carbonation. You've got to have a really rich body to carry carbonation. So when the body isn't there, if your carbonation is higher, it seems very thin. So one of the tricks when you don't have a lot of body, like in a lot of lower session beers or things like that, you tend to go with lower carbonation. It comes across as fuller. When you have a lot of body, you can really up your carbonation and still come across as full. If you don't, then it comes across as overly full or cloying. So, yeah. You have to balance your mouthfeel with your carbonation.
Right, yep. And I've been using playing with different yeasts like London Tree, Vermont yeast, California yeast, and even if you use the same process with all those yeasts, you're gonna get pretty much the same result because you're using oats and wheat, so you're gonna get a hazy beer.
Right.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be that much related to the yeast.
Yeah, I think the whole hop glycoside thing is it's a thing, and I think people saying that, the hops are holding on to the oils and you're tasting that in the beer, and I just don't believe that, because if you use those yeasts, they flocculate out really well. And I think, the hop character that you're getting is really from the binding of the tannins and the protein. I think that's one of the things. And then all the oils that exist. One of the things about yeast is they'll take up oils, and they'll drop out with those oils. I don't know. If you get a lot of yeast in beer, it's not a pleasant kind of beer.
Yep.
I don't know. So you think you'll be open at your brewery end of the year, beginning of 2018?
Well, we got 20,000 things to do before we can decide on an opening date. Right. But we're trying to shoot end of the year, early next year. Right. We'll definitely announce once we have a day on social media.
Okay. And the name of your brewery again is?
Del Cielo Brewing. Okay. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Just come to the building and see how hard we work.
Right there in the heart of downtown Martinez.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful building. Yes. I like that building. I really liked it. I was just, for what we wanted to do, I was worried about, trucks coming in and loading docks and things like that. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not a small building, but it's a decent building to create a nice brewery and be able to...
I agree.
Have a nice, our capacity is going to be around 150 people. We're going to be able to distribute some of those beers too. Yeah.
Great. I'm looking forward to coming down and giving it a try. I'm sure a lot of listeners are as well. Thank you all. I think it was a great show. I think we only scratched the surface of...
Yeah.
Let's drink more. IPA.
There you go.
Well, and thank you very much, Jeff, for providing the beers. And
Luis, thanks for being in the studio.
Yeah, thanks, Luis, for joining in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I had a good time. Drank a lot of beer, had a good time. I mean, this is pretty much how my life works.
It's time to take a Lyft or an Uber.
Yeah, time for an Uber. Well, not Uber. No more Uber for me.
Lyft.
Nope.
Which is pretty much Uber drivers that have just moved over to, have two stickers in their window instead of one.
The money goes to a better place, and that's saying
nothing.
Not a place.
Yeah. Well, there you go. If you enjoy this stuff, make sure you hit our sponsors up. Check out Blickman Engineering. Check out the AHA, Great Fermentations, and especially AdamandEve.com. Go check it out. Use the offer code Jamil, Jamil. If you don't like any of those things, check out the Brewing Network store, thebrewingnetwork.com/store. There's lots of goodies in there, and when you buy those goodies, all the profits go to the bottom line. The Brewing Network keeps shows like this on the air. Right now, they have a window tint on sale. It is 50% off. It's got the Brewing Network logo on it.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is really cool. You put that up. It'd be perfect for every brewery, bar, whatever. Like I said, 50% off. It's limited quantities, but check it out. Beautiful window tint. BrewingNetwork.com/store. So check that out and jump on that sale before it's all gone. Till then, brew strong.
Brew strong, everyone.